There's an old African proverb that says, "For tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today," and that's nowhere more true than when you're doing a business continuity plan and showing that preparedness um, for something that hasn't happened yet, that's going to happen in the future. Uh, in my reports, I reviewed Bancorp South, which Bancorp South is a group of banks that's headquarters in Tupelo, Mississippi, and has branches all over Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Tennessee, and Texas. Bancorp South controls more than $13 billion in assets, and it's one of the largest banks in the southern region. Um, with Bancorp South being in the south, it has to put up with a lot of different weather events. And of course, probably the most major of those weather events is hurricanes. Um, in 2005, it did get affected by Hurricane Katrina, and it learned, the leaders of Bancorp South learned many things because of Hurricane Katrina, and they went into their business continuity plan and updated it, changed a lot of things, and that had great benefit to them because in 2008 we had Hurricane Gustav that hit the region, and because of the changes they made between 2005 and 2008, a lot of their assets were saved. One of the things they did is they kind of made a standing operated procedure that said, because of the storm coming in, at the close of business on Friday, all the branches that were potentially going to be affected by the storm, they took all their electronics and they stored all their electronics on top of the desks just in case there was any type of flooding, that computer infrastructure would not be affected. One thing that happened during Katrina that they learned was that floodwaters came in. It came into the branches and it also came into the vaults, and there was banknotes, um, bonds, checks, and all sorts of other things that got wet, got mud, and were completely ruined. So what Bancorp South did is they put in um, their plan that anytime that a weather event might affect a branch, that branch would take, you know, all these different paper items, and they would put them in the U.S. Federal Reserve envelopes, which were um, tamper resistant and they were weather resistant. So those assets would be able to be recovered after the weather event passed. Another thing that Bancorp South instigated after Hurricane Katrina, before Hurricane Gustav, was that instead of letting their maintenance workers button up, for lack of a better word, all their different branches, is they contracted that out. And now the contractors, um, they would give the contractors a call. That contractor would come in and board up the windows and everything like that, before that weather event were to hit. One more thing that they instigated is a communication plan that was something that was lacking during Hurricane Katrina, that they thought of and they put in the plan. Um, they made a toll-free number, not only for customers but also for their employees, where their employees could call this 1-800 number and let the headquarters know exactly where they were at, if they were safe, if they needed some type of help. Um, but also because some branches were closed because of the weather event, um, and because some of the workers might be dislocated, it allowed those workers to know, when they needed to show up to work, where they needed to show up to work, because the location that they might have been working at might have had to go to an alternate location. Um, they also communicated with people that worked for them, um, like the people that transported the money. Uh, they got in touch with them before the hurricane hit, and um, that company let them know that as soon as the weather passed, that they would be back on the roads as soon as possible, to transport that money. BancorpSouth was also able to get in touch with um, the Federal Reserve and a lot of the federal money, such as railroad retirement, um, Social Security pensions, and like that, were able to be delivered early to their branches. That way, they were able to, in turn around and distribute that money to their customers because a lot of their customers were evacuating the region, and that way, it provided those customers the money that they needed. So, like I was saying, you know, an emergency management plan, um, the business continuity plan, is only good as the paper is written on if you don't put it into action. And it looks like BancorpSouth did a very good job of taking something that was already in writing, but then after a major weather event, they looked at things that didn't go well and made those changes and updated their business continuity plan to something that worked even better for them.